welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure to check out the website femyoga.com. This channel is 100% funded by viewers just like you, so thank you so much for making this show possible. Thank you all of our sponsors from the last 30 days, and thank you to my guest today and every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mr. South Jersey Broker, my friend Ed. Hey Ben, first comment to the broadcast on Periscope. We're live on Twitch as well. Hi Steph. I'm going to bring him on in about 3 seconds, and we're going to start with step 15 from the 67-step program that we've been going over for I don't even know how many weeks now. And there he is in the broadcast. So if you want to follow him, he just came in. Hi. Love you. All right. I'm bringing him on. Drum roll. Hi, Wayne. 3, 2. Oh, I'm totally not prepared for this. 1, maybe. Oh, he's there, but he's muted. And okay, now I think they can hear you too.
Now they can.
Happy Friday! Yes, let's talk about the good life, health, wealth, and happiness. Very similar to what I help people do here on Fem Yoga. Hi, Sonam. Because I am indeed going to be the female to Lopez. Okay, let me stop. Everyone's saying hi to you. Can see the comments, right? You're
I'm
going to
working on
comment
that.
back?
I'm working on that right now.
He's commenting instead of speaking.
No, you know what? They're really far away from me, so I'm bringing them up on the computer screen next to me.
Oh, okay, nice. Sonam.
It was great.
No, please. Well, let's just get right into the push-ups. Are you doing push-ups first or second today? I think I should do them first, because then I think that means I get less.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so for every number of step that we're at, we do that many push-ups. So we're starting on step number 15 out of 67, which means I have to do 15 push-ups. So I'm going to get ready to do that. And let me tell you what step 15 is. According to Ty, it's called Descartes and Solving Problems with a Calculator. So this is a good one for Ed since he never speaks. So he can actually, do I have stuff on the floor? So he can actually talk more about this because he loves numbers, and he's actually helped me a lot in my business to get my analytics and metrics down in a way that I know a lot more. I kind of have my finger on the pulse of my own business a lot better than I did before. Okay, 15 push-ups. Ed, if you want to say things, that would be great. So no one pays attention to what's about to happen. No, don't count.
No, we're going to count. We'll keep the count. Okay. I'll count for everyone. So just to make sure you actually get 15.
I hate my life. 15, that's so many.
You got do the first few really quick.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come on, 5 more. Come on, you can do it. 5 more. Here we go. 11, 12, 13, 14. 1 more. Come on. 15. Come on. You can do it. Yes. 15. Woo.
Oh my god, I think that was good.
Wow, I really hope we don't get to. I hope we don't get to step 17 today. You're really in
we talked
trouble.
about step 15 for a long time.
We need to take our time on 15 and 16. 30 minutes each.
Vegan dough? Vegan dough, do you know CPR?
Do you know CPR? It's like a breathing mask. Do you want me to talk about the step while you breathe?
Thank you, Sonam. Sonam said you're out of breath just from counting.
I'm out of breath. I'm drinking. I have a drink here.
You're drinking? Already?
Not alcohol, but
Hi, soft kitty.
still poison.
This is serious. Woo, alright, step 15, everyone. 15 push-ups. So.
That was good. That was a lot of push-ups. Doing 15 push-ups in a row is actually really hard.
You don't like my mouth? Okay, no, sorry, I'm talking to Doe, not you. Yeah. 15 was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. That's okay. This is how we get stronger. Mental toughness, physical toughness. Thank you for reminding your followers, Sonam. Okay, so solving problems with a calculator. How often do you solve problems with a calculator versus doing it in your head?
Actually not very often.
Hey.
I generally do it in my head, believe it or not.
Why is that on the screen?
Like most math I can do in my head.
I don't like that there's a button to hang up on you on here.
Yeah,
How many of you are clicking the hang up button right now on the screen? Hi, Bob. How are you? It won't go away. I don't know.
Just treat that.
Talk more about math problems.
You know what? The hang up button is really a good place for them to tap their super hearts. You can drop them right on me, on the hang up button.
What if I refresh and then maximize? Why you no cooperate?
What are you trying to do?
Are you answering? Did you even answer the question about how often you do it in your head versus on the calculator?
Yeah, I told you I do it mostly in my head.
Hi, Trapper.
I very rarely.
Calculator. Rarely?
Very rarely, yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna pretend like it's part of a shirt. Great, we're going with it.
Look, do you want me to move so it's like right in my shirt?
You're moving the wrong way.
Am I going the wrong way? Yeah.
Hi, Kelly.
We got it. It's fine.
I use a calculator more than I care to admit, but I do try not to. I try to challenge myself to use my head as a calculator even more. Actually, one night, I won't say when, there was just some time in my recent past where we played the game Never Have I Ever. And I was trolling everyone for looking up ideas on their phone. I'm like, use your brains. Come up with ideas from your own brains. Don't like look up other people's ideas. I don't know. That's just, it's good to flex our brains just like we just flexed our muscles with the push-ups. Do math in your head. At least challenge yourself to do it, and then use a calculator to check it before you go.
And you know why math in your head works so well? Because you don't really have to have exact math in most things. You can have like fuzzy math where you kind of get in the ballpark. Like yesterday we were estimating a fence around the pool, and the guy was like, I don't know, it's 140 feet at $22 per linear foot, and he's like, oh, let me get the calculator. I'm like, it's right around $4,000, and he's like, he just kind of was like, I don't know, I'm not sure. I'm like, no, it really is. So he does it on the calculator. It's like $3,800 or something with tax and everything. So he's like, oh yeah, it's like $4,000. I'm like, it doesn't really matter. It's close enough, you know. Like we don't need a calculator to figure that out. But anyway. That's kind of an example of not using the calculator.
You use a calculator for tax forms? Wait, what do you mean, Doe? For what?
Doe uses a calculator for everything.
What? What, to write the word boobs?
What?
That's what I use
What's going on?
for.
What's going on in this chat?
You know how you write, like with the calculator, boobs?
Oh yeah, like 8005.
When you flip it upside down, you're like, I wrote boobs.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yes, Steph, I trolled him on that last episode. Calculator. Calculator.
Oh my
Calculator.
god. I'm not talking. I'm going back to not talking.
Can you say water?
No.
These are cash cannons. We shoot
Water.
them off every time we get to 20,000 super hearts. Actually, that sounded kind of normal. Hey, I'll calculator.
Calculator.
This amuses me.
How do you guys say it? Say it for me so I know how to say it the right way.
If you're using a calculator to dial a phone call, Bob, I don't think you're gonna get through. A calculator says what? Wait, what?
What?
I'm not sure. Okay,
what?
Did you say water?
Water.
No. Okay, whatever. Let's move on.
Water.
So,
whatever delay.
Tell us
whatever.
about your history with numbers and your love for numbers.
My love of numbers?
Yes.
So I only have one comment about numbers, really, and it's that numbers don't lie. So that's why I love numbers. And that's the bottom line. If you track your numbers, you'll know what's happening in your business. So that's really I'm trying to read the comments. Somebody said shrink there. What the dude?
Yeah, I agree with that. I love the numbers, and I feel like when you know the numbers, I actually was talking to Sodom about this just earlier today. When I know the numbers, it gives me power, and I have full control over what's happening. So if my numbers aren't where I want them to be, I can try something, and then I can see if it works. It's just like it basically gives you the power to experiment. It's science.
And also, it gives you confidence too in what you're doing, because a lot of times if you base your business decisions on emotion, you're usually wrong because you're in it, and you're in it 24 hours a day. So you emotionally respond to things. And if you think you're failing, you actually could be succeeding. And if you think you're succeeding, you actually could be failing. And that's a big problem that a lot of businesses have. They trick themselves into thinking they're succeeding, and really they're bleeding money, and they have no idea because they don't know their numbers. They don't know their conversion rates. They don't know their income. They don't know their profit, their loss. They don't know any of that stuff. So, yeah. I mean, you can't lie. If you put the numbers down, you can't lie. It's hard to look at them sometimes. One of the hardest things for an entrepreneur is when their business is failing to actually write the numbers down and identify the problem, because they have to face it themselves. And usually they're lying to themselves. They're like, yeah, I'm profitable. I'm just going to borrow some more money. And it's like, you're borrowing money every month. How are you profitable? But, they don't see it that way because they have cash in their hand from the money coming in from the business. They're just not applying it correctly.
Right. Yeah. So I have three things. One is Kelly said the numbers either add up or they don't. Doe said that numbers do lie because she asked this guy for his number once. And it didn't.
No, wait, hold on. I got to respond to that because the numbers don't lie. The numbers were correct. The people lie. So the guy lied. He gave you the wrong number, but the number was right.
Oh my God. Doe said, imagine if you actually did bleed money, then
wow.
Girls would be rich.
And guys would have lots of wives because I'd be like, how many wives can I have? It's like a money tree.
Oh my God. Can we block him mid-broadcast? Accountants are the opposite. Hi, Zen.
Wait, why are we not blocking Doe for saying bleeding money? That's like, we should block her.
Why? Is that gross to you?
Kind of.
You're just getting yourself double blocked. Doe's just getting promoted up the list. You're out. She's in. Doe, do you want to come on split screen? Finish this off with me.
Doe, you want to take over? Just call in a hangouts. I'm just gonna.
We'll just put her right in the middle of us. We'll just keep adding people.
Just put her on top of me. Like our head just goes there.
That would be funny. I would do it. Hi, Greg. You brought it up, Ed. That's true. You did bring up the bleeding. That's true.
Did I? I brought up bleeding? Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, but not in that context.
Metaphorically.
Yeah.
So the third thing I wanted to say is that I always feel like keeping a close eye on my numbers, keeping that finger on the pulse, like I said, enables me to see when a change is coming before it's really evident. Do you know what I mean? Like you can tell when things are starting to kind of slow down or change before you really notice in kind of the grand scheme of things. That kind of weekly, I check in with my numbers weekly. I mean, obviously I check them daily, but weekly is kind of like I get that overview and I can tell, okay, when these little numbers change, I can tell that means something's kind of going on here. And I've noticed when I talk to other people running the similar businesses as I do, oftentimes they're not even aware. Like I'll be like, did your followers number go down this week? Seems like weird. Like I'm gaining followers each day, but my overall number went down this week. And people are like, what? No, I have no idea. I just don't know. So it's like that extra layer of awareness. And like I said, kind of you have control over the situation and it's very empowering and it gives you kind of like energy and that energy that you need if the numbers do start to dip or change.
Yeah, and it also gives you projection ability because exactly what you're talking about is what causes you to be able to project what's going to happen next. So if you know those numbers and you know the averages and you know the lows and the highs, you're able to predict when something is a one-time event and when something's a constant problem. So if you're constantly seeing followers drop over and over again for 3 months straight, that's probably a problem considering you had a steady growth of a certain percentage for a long time before that. So it's really good for predicting business growth and, long term. You can predict short term and long term growth using them. So.
Right. Actually, you and I were talking about this earlier about sustainability in my business in particular. You can notice sometimes there's some months where the majority of the sponsorships of this channel come in from a handful of people. And then as we've progressed, we've noticed that base of people has started to, the people that are giving maybe $5 or $10 a month, $20 a month is actually growing to the point where you don't need like one really big heavy hitter contributor as much as, in the beginning, or at least it's not as much of an impact as it used to be in the beginning. So that kind of predicts sustainability of the business when you have a regular kind of more predictable, like you said, more consistent basis to kind of go off of. And I think to me that makes me actually feel more secure in the viability of this business and keep working on it and growing it rather than like most of my money's coming from one person, 2 people, 3 people. That's not very sustainable. That's very, very risky. There's a lot of eggs in one basket there. So that's, as far as live streaming goes, that's what I've noticed.
No, and in business too, that's a basic principle that if you have more than 20% of your revenue coming from one client, that you're in jeopardy of a potential disaster of some sort. Because a lot of businesses, the reason that is because most businesses operate on margins of less than 20%. So their net profit is generally less than 20%. So if your net profit is 15%, but your revenue is 20% from one company and they disappear, you're literally negative immediately.
Right.
So it's very, very dangerous to be at 20% or more. And in live streaming, I mean, you're building this, and as you build a business, you don't really have a choice from the beginning of where your revenue comes from. But the goal is to kind of shift your revenue towards more sustainability, so that as it gets older, it becomes more stable and not as fluctuating, and more predictable.
I agree, but I just saw Doe's comment come in. She's like, yeah, I mean, I'm about to go bankrupt, but it's good that everyone else supports you because I'm about to go bankrupt. Shout out to Doe, our top contributor for the last 30 days. Hey, Rescue Farm.
Doe, we're just going to need you to start tracking your numbers so you don't go bankrupt. You'll be fine.
Yes.
So you know if you spend too much.
Make sure. Yeah. Are you bringing in more than you're spending?
Exactly.
And Steph made a couple good points talking about pinpointing why the flux, which totally to me sounds like a customer.
Wait, I just want to say hi to Steph. She said hi when she came in, and I was like, you were talking, so I didn't interrupt you. But anyway.
I thought you were going to respond in the comments.
No, it's up here. I have to reach up to get it.
Hi, Tila. Wait, where? Is that what you're using for your camera?
No, I have it. Oh. I have the phone on top of the camera to give it height.
You have the same setup as me.
It's perfect. It looks awesome. And then I have the comments down over here on the screen so I can actually read them. Tila, what's up, Tila?
Doe.
What's Doe saying?
That she's basically altruistic.
Oh. Well, that's good.
What do you think about altruism? We talked about this on our first episode too.
Yeah, altruism. Whatever. It has its place. I'm a fan of altruism once you've made your money. If you have unlimited supplies of money and you want to
altruism.
Wait, what am I?
Altruism is sacrificing for others.
Oh.
Not giving from your profits.
What am I thinking of? What's the word I'm thinking of?
Charity, maybe.
Yeah, the other word for it.
Donations.
No, the word that sounds more like altruism. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Can we get back to step 15? That was step 1. We don't want to talk about that. That was weeks ago.
Else. Oh yeah, outliers. Steph also said outliers. That's exactly what we're talking about here. You can see whether something is an outlier or because it can give people that false sense of security, where they get a big, they have some money come in all at once, say like a one-hit wonder, like a musician. They have one really successful song, and they just assume that all their songs from now on are going to be huge hits, and all this money is going to come in anytime they want to write a new song, so they just spend it all immediately and then go make another song, and the song flops, and it's just kind of a failure. The numbers don't work like that. So it's better if you're checking in, if you're like, okay, well, I wrote 100 songs, and then one song was successful. What the numbers are actually saying there is that you probably need to write about 100 more songs before you have another one that works.
Yeah, if anybody knows anything about statistics, there's always that bell curve. The bell curve takes into account outliers. That's what that low, when you look at a bell curve and it's like this, the outliers are the left and the right of it, and everything else, all the majority of the data is in the middle. And that's basically how you have to think in business and in life too. When you have that one-time event, and I always talk about people who win the lottery and then blow all their money. You can't win the lottery and then go cause your expenses to go through the roof because you're just going to blow all your money. You don't have that kind of income to spend that kind of money. You just have a one-time hit. So your business is just like that. You can accidentally make money in business. There have been times where I've been grinding away and I accidentally made, 50 grand. I'm like, wow, I just made 50 grand, but that is not revenue. That is not budgetable revenue for next month to try to determine how I'm going to run the business. That was an accident because I was just doing a lot of activities and I accidentally made some money. Now, if I can figure out how to do that over and over again, then it'll become, data that I can count on. But if I can only do it one time, it's just not actionable. So it becomes almost like a windfall, and you just kind of tuck that away and use it for investing in yourself and the company and all that.
Yeah, Tila says that also happens to people that retire. Steph says, "Oops, I'm rich."
Oops, I'm rich.
Because you said accidentally, "Oops, I'm rich."
Yeah, it comes, you're doing a lot of work, and then all of a sudden, something happens, and money just comes out of nowhere, and you're like, "Wow, that was awesome," but not repeatable.
Thank you for the super hearts, Cortland. We definitely need Doe to be in every single one of these shows because she said, "Ed, can you please explain to us again the shape of a bell?"
We should just let Doe ask all the questions. She can host this. We'll let her sit in the middle and host the show.
Exactly.
She'll ask us questions and we'll answer it. So she'll be like, "Can you re-explain the bell?" And I'll be like, "All right, I guess."
Can you draw us a diagram, please?
I'll get the whiteboard out. Like, hey.
Steph said she would love to slip and fall into a dangerous pile of money.
Keep grinding. You never know. It just shows up sometimes.
Just plant some banana peels around, metaphorically speaking. Thank you, Cortland, for the super hearts. Should we? I think that's pretty much step 15 is the importance of math, loving math, becoming. Oh, what did I call it? I called it make friends with math, calculate probabilities and stats. I actually signed up for a stats class and a probability. Wait, probabilities parts of stats? Part of stats class? I signed up for a stats class right after reading that step. That's where my money comes from. Nowhere. What now? Tila enjoyed watching you define the curves.
Everyone apparently loves the curves. I don't know what to say.
So if you can just keep doing that while
I'll just
great.
banter.
That's perfect. People think you're doing sign language. What's the biggest U.S. lotto jackpot ever? I don't know. Wayne, do you have an answer to that?
It's over 500 million, I
Steph
think.
said she could keep grinding, but wouldn't twerking be more effective?
Yeah, Steph, do the twerking. That could definitely lead to windfalls of money.
You're here for the fun and it doesn't sound fun. Did you just hear that Steph Taylor's going to be twerking for money soon? That sounds fun to me.
It sounds like we just got a commitment.
Can you sign here?
We're going to e-sign you a document. Stand by.
Fem Yoga, twerking Tuesdays right before, or no, following Trivia Tuesdays with Sonam.
You might be on to something with that.
Oh my gosh, Cortland, if you ask me that question again, I think I'm going to explode. Hi, Dub. You twerk daily? He just keeps asking about how to send me money, like, every 2 seconds, and it's like, I've sent him a million links. I just don't know what to do with him.
Cortland.
I can't push the button for you, my friend.
Wait, I'm going to help him. Get an envelope. I don't have one. I'll show you what it is. Envelope. Cash.
Bob says twerking is good.
Put it in. Mail it.
Give me some cash for the cash cannon.
Done deal.
My
Forget
address
PayPal.
is on the website, femyoga.com.
Send it to the P.O. Box.
Double twerk for tacos on Tuesdays. Is this before or after Trivia Tuesdays? Oh, Sonam's going to do toe working.
So, yeah, no, we don't.
Toe content.
We don't want toe working at all. None.
It's not going through. I don't know. Maybe send me a screenshot of the error page that you're getting.
Cortland, send me your login. I will send it for you.
The website is correct. It's not the link that's incorrect. I don't know what it's saying to you. That's wrong. But we can handle this when we're not live. Maybe that'd be cool. All right. Are we done with step 15? Do you know what this means?
9 more minutes before I have to do push-ups. All right, fine. 16 push-ups.
Step 16, step 16. Tina was claiming benefits and won $2 million on the lottery. And then what happened? When will you be Dongoga? Tila, are you drunk? Dongoga.
Sounds like I don't know. I don't want to guess that one.
Sounds like...
Yeah, I don't want to guess. Like, I just want to stop talking about it. Do my push-ups. Thank you for that. You just made me want to do my push-ups. I appreciate that.
Tila, you nailed it. Step 16, 16 push-ups, coming to you live from New Jersey.
Ooh. Here we go. Push-ups.
And while he prepares, I'm going to tell you what step 16 is called. Ty calls it Rousseau, the Renaissance Man, and iron sharpening iron. And now, for the main event. Right. Hi, Joey.
The main event. Here it goes. 16.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. How many are you supposed to do? 16? I thought it was 15.
No, well, you know what happened? So I was keeping count in my head, but you were 1 or 2 behind me. So I just started going by your count, and I lost my count. So I'm a little bit ahead. All right.
You're crying, Cortland? Why cry? No need to cry.
Cortland said a goddamn envelope.
He's like, damn it. I'm crying now. Don't cry. It's just a technical difficulty. You'll figure it out, ma'am.
It's gonna be okay.
Don't.
But expect live trolling though.
See, there we go. Bob said talk about motivation. Do you mean you're doing push-ups now, Bob? How many people are doing push-ups right now? not me. I already did my push-ups for now.
All right, everybody who's watching this, I want you to go do
Trappers
20
and
push-ups
never lie.
right now. Like,
yeah, I think he did 16, which I'm pretty sure means that I have to do 15 instead of 16. Call an ambulance.
Didn't we start on step 15 though? We're on 16 now, right?
Oh yeah. 16.
So I'm good.
You're right. I don't know how to count.
We're fine.
Crap, I still have to do 17.
See, numbers never lie.
We have 36 minutes. We got to make this one last.
I really want to see you do 17 push-ups.
Dub wants to twerk while you do push-ups.
That actually, you know how entertaining that would be if Doe was on one side twerking.
Only to you guys.
Wait, what if Doe was on one side twerking, I was doing push-ups, and Sonam was on the bottom toe working?
Tila's pushing herself out of her chair. Thank you, Cortland. Zen says the push-ups ruins the continuity. I'm sorry, Zen. I'm sorry.
Yo, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna give away $50. Can I give away money?
No,
I'm not actually.
Give away money.
Why? I'm not on your channel.
I tried doing this before. Yes, we are on my channel.
Oh wait, no, hold on. I'm not gonna give away money. I'm not gonna give it away right now.
Okay.
Whoever posts a video of themselves doing 20 push-ups on Twitter and tags Taylor's channel.
Thank you for inviting Tila.
I'll pick one. Whoever does it the best, I'll give $50 to.
I don't know if we can do that.
Why? I can pick. Can I?
I've lost. Kayvon, if you're watching this, I've lost control of my gas.
But I'm not giving it away right now. I'm not going to give it away on this broadcast. We'll give it away on another one.
Can we please give a moment to say thank you to Cortland because he has made this your most profitable show ever since you've been on, including when you came to my house and did Food Scope.
Oh, thank you, Cortland.
Thank you. And now Cortland's asking if you're going to do them naked.
Am I going to do them naked? Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. Not on this scope, though.
Oh, my God. Dub's like, I'm twerking anyway. I don't care. Are you going to twerk on the Twitter and the Twitter post, the video that you post? What a ho-hum week for the Dow. Oh, should we talk about Korea? I feel like it's not related to the steps.
Korea?
Yeah. You don't even know.
Sure I do.
You don't follow Yo Pickles because that's how I found out. So
I do.
South Korea, for the first time in like over 6 decades, I think, Kim Jong-un went from North Korea to South Korea, and they had peace talks, and they decided to completely denuclearize all of Korea, and in exchange for peace. So there would be no war, but also they're supposed to be getting rid of all their nuclear weapons, which I don't understand why they're expected to get rid of theirs and we're not expected to get rid of ours. Christina, thanks for the super hearts. It was so awesome meeting you in Chicago. Sorry, go ahead.
Because they're not real. They're like pretend versions of nuclear weapons. You know, like they might function, they might not. That kind of thing.
We don't hate you, Cortland. It's just PMS.
Cortland, we don't hate you. What are you talking about? I love Cortland. What does Cortland think we hate him?
I was gonna explode.
Why? I don't know. We're just trolling you live because, you know, you can't.
That's how you know you're in the family.
Yeah, you're totally in. If we troll you live, if we pay attention and actually troll you, you're totally in. Like, that's like your.
What did I say the wrong name, Tila? Hey, this is not a real news show, all right? I cannot be held responsible for mispronouncing anyone's names. Oh, Bob's like, I did 200 push-ups, but I forgot to press record.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to modify that. Whoever does the most push-ups records it and tags Taylor. That's who I'll give the $50 to.
Whoever does the most push-ups?
Yeah, in a row. Not on your knees.
You're just changing it.
Yeah, I'm modifying it. Because I can. This isn't my show. I'm a guest. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, this is the last time you come on the show.
Well, I didn't run this whole thing by you anyway.
Technically, because it has nothing to do with Periscope, I think because the giveaway is being done on Twitter, it should
it's on Twitter. And I'll do it from my Twitter account. It'll have nothing to do with Periscope.
If you guys actually take the time to do the push-ups, record yourself, and put it on Twitter, I mean, you'll probably be the only one. You'll probably win $50.
Yeah, literally. I will give it to whoever does the most.
And just tag at FemYoga Taylor.
Yep, just tag at FemYoga. Yeah, perfect. Awesome.
This just in, Mr. Ed modified $50. I'm like, breaking news, I interrupt this broadcast.
You know, I'm a big fan of working for what you get, so I don't want to really pick someone just based on like what I think looks the best. So the number actually makes sense. So if you can do them continuously, that, you know, it's not a game of chance either. It's a skill-based thing.
Tina said she's also done 200 push-ups. This is all we're gonna get is just comments on how many people have done it. I feel like I should have my phone out in case I start getting things posted on Twitter. Okay. Step 16. I love this message that I got about you being on pony. It's not I'm on point. And I'm on point today. It's like I'm on pony today.
On pony too. I don't even know what that was. Like
lie. Numbers don't lie. Okay. Step 16. I called it have a diverse range of knowledge, quote unquote Renaissance woman. Same thing. So do you know what a Renaissance man is?
Yeah, somebody who's good at everything, but not, they're just kind of good at everything, right?
I think it means they know about a lot of things. Doesn't mean that they're good at, I mean, it might be like a variety of skills. Maybe that is. I know it has to do with like the diverse range of knowledge.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you're more accurate with it. I don't know if it's necessarily being good at it. I think it's just having this, like the knowledge and possibly the skill set.
Yeah, being able to have a conversation with anyone about anything. And as I read this other book, Secrets Self-Made Millionaires Teach Their Kids by Steve Siebold. We did a whole broadcast about it last night. Actually, Ed got me this book. It's awesome. Freaking love it. And in here, they talk about basically how wealthy people are in a different world. They have different kinds of conversations about different things. So it's important to learn about the things that are going to benefit you the most. Yeah, maybe it's, maybe you could memorize every single member of some NFL team, but is that really going to get you to where your goals are? Now, maybe you want to own an NFL team or something. I don't know if that's really a great goal, but regardless. There's very few situations in which certain knowledge is really going to benefit you, like knowing what happened in Grey's Anatomy last week, things like that. Now, it might be interesting to you, but like we've talked about when we were going through this book, focus on education, not entertainment, and that's what wealthy-minded people do. People who are wealthy financially and otherwise.
Hey, we just set a new goal this week, actually,
exactly,
which we talked about for a while, but our 10-year goal right now is to get our company public, actually stock market traded. So we know nothing about that. We know a little bit, but we don't know anything about the actual process. So we're going to be learning and reading a lot about that in the next couple of months.
Nice. So
should be interesting.
Yes. Yeah. Sonam said her aim is to be like Gary Vee, so she swears, but she doesn't always. I'm sorry, Ben. I'm trying to say wealthy. I see you in the comments. I'm like, all right, let me switch my words here.
Yeah, rich is such a weird word.
Yeah, well, he calls golf and tennis like rich people sports, and that it's important to play rich people sports. They said a lot more deals are made on golf. What's the word I'm looking for?
Golf courses.
Course. I'm like not court, not golf court. On the golf course than in like boardrooms. There's actually a book called Selling on the Green, I think, and that was kind of interesting to me because I never really thought about the idea of learning how to play golf so that you can network with wealthier people.
So that 100% works. Every time I play golf in a foursome, something really good comes out of it. Like the financing I have for investment properties right now, I set up while playing golf with somebody.
Do you like golf?
Me? I mean, I like the challenge of it. I'm not really good at it though. I'm like, I can hang, but I'm not like great.
Tila is just unabashedly hitting on you right now.
What? I don't see it.
Okay.
Is it on Periscope?
Yeah, golf is the most frustrating game ever, Ben says. When I play golf, I get hit in the nuts with a 4-iron. Yeah, the author, Steve Siebold, said that he doesn't even like golf. He kind of hates it, but he plays it anyway so that he can continue to make the deals that he makes. You know
why golf works for that, though? There's a reality to it. There are 4 people playing. It's a 6-hour game. You're basically stuck in a golf cart with somebody for like 4 of those hours where you're not actually hitting a ball. You're just kind of driving around looking for balls. So the conversation tends to be very lengthy and focused. And you tend to get to know like what their connections are, who they work with, what they do. And you can ask a lot of questions because there's really nothing else to do except have conversation when you're playing golf. And I think that's why it's one of the most effective deal-making places, because you have 6 hours to hammer out a deal. Where else do you ever get that kind of focus, like of time of someone's attention to be able to have a discussion? Like even if we're negotiating a deal in an office, we have 15 minutes to make our point and try to close it.
Yeah.
It's not a 6-hour, dance of whatever. So
exactly. That's a really good point. So because you missed it, Tila says, where do you find such good-looking guys? Taylor's Eye Candy Hour. And now we're also all going to enjoy a little laugh about how you drive around looking for balls.
Yep. That's pretty much what happens.
Ben said, thank God for the beer cart or I would lose my mind. Thanks for the super hearts. Merci beaucoup, mon ami, pour les super cars. Johnny? Okay. What else do we have to talk about? Renaissance man. There was something else. Going back to Ty. Iron sharpening iron. That's actually biblical. You know what that means?
I'm blanking. But yeah, I do know what that means. I know what that means.
So, like, if I was iron and you were iron and we were sharpening each other, do you have any idea what that would mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're making the other person better by basically
yeah, sharpening. Yeah, so it's like we've been talking about elevating your circles a lot in the past like couple months. I feel like that keeps coming up over and over on my channel, and I'm sorry, I'm reading all these comments.
There's a ton of comments. They keep flying by. I'm like, what the heck?
I agree, Ben. I do think it makes more sense to go to the website than to do Super Hearts, but some people want to buy Super Hearts and then just contribute a very small amount of money to a bunch of different broadcasters, so that works too. Successful people flock together. Right, and that's how you get better, is that you kind of like, when you have two people that are both strong, you kind of sharpen each other. It's supposed to be, it was originally intended to mean Christians. Like Christians were spiritually sharpening each other and encouraging Christians to hang out with Christians because it would make them better Christians, which is also somewhat of a dangerous advice in my opinion, because it's like encouraging people to stick, to not have anyone who thinks they might be wrong and not like being around anyone who might have different kinds of ideas. So there's one thing to cocoon yourself, like we talked about with, protecting yourself against like scarcity mindset people and negative, toxic people. But then there's also, I think, that, that we could be sharpened by people who aren't iron, whatever like a really soft metal would be.
I don't know if that works, but
oh, thank you, Johnny. I love Claire memes.
Gold sharpens iron.
Oh, Ben, interesting. Why is that? Why are you anti-Twitter? Anyone wanting to shadow them is allowed to. Yeah, I mean, people who are really sharp, they often, you'd be surprised how rarely people are asking them for their knowledge. I mean, there's... Well,
and you'd be surprised, how many people waste their time. Because, like, there are people who constantly call our office, like, looking to invest in real estate, and it's a total waste of time for them because they literally have no ability to do it. They don't ask the right questions. So there's a lot of that goes on too. If you come out and you really want to better yourself and you ask the right questions to somebody who knows what they're doing, they'll be more than happy to share it with you because they want to talk about it. Most of the time, they're very passionate about what they're doing. And, they won't hesitate to share, that abundance mentality with you. And you can learn a lot that way. But don't waste their time. I think I've said that before. Like, just don't waste their time. Don't ask.
Come with something, yeah.
Yeah, come with something. Like, at least be ready to work. If they ask you to do something, to do what you're trying to do, or at least have the courtesy to tell them, like, right away, like, it doesn't sound like that's for me. Because a lot of times it's not. A lot of times your understanding of what you think you have to do is totally different than what you actually have to do to succeed at something. So.
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many people ask me for advice on live streaming, and like they're telling me their ideas and everything. I'm just thinking, just do it, just try it, because I bet you're gonna hate it. Like, it's a compliment. I said this actually because I was with a bunch of broadcasters in Chicago. There's just all these people that are like, oh, I'm gonna start broadcasting. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna quit my job and they've never even broadcasted. I'm just like, it's a compliment to us, because to us we're thinking, are these people crazy? And then it's like, oh, it's a compliment because we are making it look so easy, and that means that we're doing our job. But at the same time, it's like there's so much more work to being successful than people really realize. Like, they want the benefits and the rewards, but they don't want to put the work in.
No, and one of the screening techniques for people who are trying to get help with something is to just ask them why they want to do it. And I would say 9 out of 10 don't have a reason. And if you come to me and you want advice on something, but you want my time, but you have no idea why you want to do it, or not a good answer, then I would probably not even take the time, because If you tell me you want to invest in real estate and I ask you why do you want to invest in real estate and you don't have an answer, like it kind of tells me you haven't even done any research on it. You're just what you're looking for is an easy way to make money where you don't have to work, and that to me is the wrong answer. So, and you can probably associate with that too. If somebody's telling you they want to quit their job and do live streaming, what they're telling you is what you do looks easy, and I want to do that and make easy money. But that's not really a why to do something. Like that's not the right why. Because 9 times out of 10, making money is never easy. Doesn't matter what you're doing.
Right. Well, this book has kind of its own way of.
If you love something, it's easy to make money. But really, at the end of the day, to really make large amounts of money and build wealth, it's not an easy process. You have to grind every day. You're going to have ups. You're going to have downs. You're going to be in it 24/7. It's going to take months and years, not days and weeks. And people don't generally get that. So
constant discipline.
Yeah, you have to either be passionate about it or you have to want to help. You pretty much have to be willing to do it for free 24 hours a day. If you're willing to do it for free 24 hours a day, then you have what it takes to actually be successful at something. So
I don't know how I feel about that. There's nothing I would be willing to do for free.
You live? Well, think about
nothing I would be willing to do for free.
Well, think about it this way. When you started live streaming, did you make any money?
No, but the entire purpose was to make money, and I wouldn't have continued doing it if I never made any money.
Right, but you didn't make money right away, right?
No.
And you didn't quit right away.
Right.
Somebody seeking a quick get-rich-quick scheme quits right away. Because when I started real estate, I didn't make any money for 6 months.
Yeah, but that still means that what you said about whatever you would do for free. So you're saying you would do everything you do for your job for free.
No, not now. Not now. Don't get me wrong, not now. Like I wouldn't do my work for free. But when I first started it, originally when I got into it, the satisfaction of helping people was overriding the money. So like I wanted to make money, I needed to make money, but I enjoyed doing it enough that I didn't mind doing it for free for 6 months while I waited for the money to come. And I think that's more just the explanation of that. Same thing with the live streaming. You're helping people, and even though you're not making money on day one, you're still helping people. If you're not willing to help people wholeheartedly without getting paid right then on the spot, then it's probably the wrong business for you.
Hi, Lou. Sorry, Lou, I'm going to make you moderator right now. On Twitch, he says you use a steel file to sharpen a knife. Okay. Zen, thank you so much for the compliment. He said that we are both effective communicators. And Ben says that he has a great business idea, and I would love to hear about it. Networking is free a lot of times. Maybe Frogger, yeah. You have to like what you do or it will never work. I agree with that. I just don't know that I would do it for free. Hi, Kurt.
I think you're right. I mean, I think you're right in saying that. I think I'm a little overzealous with the comment of you have to be willing to do it for free. Obviously, you don't want it to work for free.
Tina's trolling you. Yes, we're well, Kurt. How are you? Oh, I'm speaking for you, Ed. How are you? Are you well?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, Ben says being in business for yourself means committing extreme amounts of hours per week. I definitely agree with that. Breakdowns and then breakthroughs. Yes. Yeah, Tina's like, I think Taylor disagrees. This is why we're doing this, because this is how it is when we talk.
It's good, though. We agree, I would say 80% of the time. The 20% that we disagree, we have a healthy disagreement, which is kind of like we tend to agree, but we're just agreeing in a different way, or we have a slightly different view on it. Like in this case, like I modified my view a little bit because I think the way I was wording it was strong, but I basically agree with what you're saying. Like I would not work for free personally, but the willingness to do it up front is important when you're first starting something. You have to really want to do it for another reason because you are going to work for free, I think is the point for a little bit.
Yes. Yep. And yeah, exactly. Meg's saying such as internships that don't pay. Right. You have to be willing to gain the skills, and very rarely is someone going to pay you to be basically useless up until you are useful, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to pay you to shadow me so I can teach you everything I know. That doesn't even make sense. It's silly. I mean, you should pay me. So it's like...
Do it, Van. I'm excited. Yes, I want everyone to express their opinions. This is awesome. I love this. I like it better when we disagree, actually. It's more interesting. All right, well, I think we actually covered step 16, and we have 17 minutes to go, and it's step 17, so it just seems like we might as well do it, even though that means I have to do 17 frickin' push-ups.
Why don't we both do them? Are we going to do 17?
Am I playing this right now? Can you guys hear this? No. What do you mean?
Well, we each did one set. If we're going to do another one, we're probably not going to get to a fourth set.
Hi, Pat. Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to join me if you would like to. This is my version, and you're only going to make me look worse.
No, it's fine. If you want to stop, I'll finish.
Step
So that way.
17 is called Elon Musk's 14-hour workday versus the 4-hour work week.
What's up, Pat? Sorry, I just saw the comment.
Yeah, I mean, you have to read the comments while I take 17 minutes to do push-ups.
I'm going to do them with you.
I know, but then who's going to read the comments?
Well, what if you pause while we do push-ups? Come on, we haven't done them. We haven't done... Pause. Everybody pause. Pause.
Oh my gosh. Why did I have this stupid idea with the push-ups? Forget, where's Kieran when you need him? Here, let me put my hair up. Let's get real professional-like with this.
Well, we got this. 17 push-ups. We can do it.
It's on the ground, ready to go.
I'm ready. Ready to get this done.
All right. Here goes nothing.
All right.
Oh my gosh. It's all right. Mind over matter. Hang on, I gotta put my other headphone in or they're gonna fall out.
You can keep your own count, so lose count.
Oh yeah, okay, we won't count out loud.
You're not gonna count out loud.
No cheating? Oh, trust me, I cheated.
We're not gonna cheat. You guys can count.
There's no way to complete them without cheating, but I'll do my best.
You did the other ones fine. You got this. Come on. 17, right?
Yes.
17. Here we go. Okay, you done? Did you do it?
I mean, I guess, if you can count those last few.
Yeah, they count. They count.
I attempted 17. The last one was a little bit of a backbend, but it's all good. But
you know, once you get to realistically, once you get to like 12 push-ups, that's really like kind of like a set. So
yeah, I did an extra few. I did 32 exactly. Okay. Step 17. Ed's chair is definitely nicer. Point to Ed. You know what, Lou? Get out.
My chair's pretty nice. It's really nice and soft and cushiony.
Elon Musk's 14-hour workday versus the 4-hour work week. Do you have anything you want to say about this?
What do I want to say about that? Hold on one sec.
Okay, I'm going to say some things. Are you drinking water?
Yeah, I have something.
Elon Musk lived off $1 a day to see if he had what it takes to be in business. Much respect for that. Bob said, that was fun. I'm out of breath. So I have the 4-Hour Workweek book here, which is a book written by Tim Ferriss. You like the sounds of effort? Thanks, Lou. It is so much harder when Ed makes me laugh.
See, it was better I was doing them with you, so you didn't have to laugh the whole time.
Yeah, that's probably true, actually. And then as soon as you finish, you're like, are you done yet? So this book, I actually love this book. And if you know me, I read a new book every week, and I'm very rarely impressed. This book is excellent. It has tons of great resources in it. Nice long book, full of really practical, useful information for running a successful business and maximizing your time so you aren't wasting time. He sleeps in his office. Someone set up a GoFundMe to buy him a new couch. Wait, are we talking about Elon Musk or Ed?
Yeah, I don't sleep in my office. I go home every night.
That's good. Me too.
I'm not crazy.
I take naps in my office, but that's just because sometimes you need a nap. All right, so you can work 14 hours, right?
That's
like
right.
Elon Musk. So we've talked about this before. We work a lot. What was the quote? I would rather work 100 hours a week for myself than 40 hours for someone else or something like that. Yeah,
it's like I'd rather work 80 hours a week for someone else or for myself than 40 hours for someone else.
Yeah, Exactly. And so Tai Lopez, the one who created these 67 steps, is pretty anti the 4-hour work week. He kind of seems to have a bad taste in his mouth about it. And I think really what he doesn't like is the clickbait nature of the title, and that it's going to appeal to people who want to be lazy, and it's going to appeal to people who only want to work 4 hours a week and be wealthy. But that's not really what this book is about if you read it. And I know Tai read it, and I'm sure he knows it's not really what that's about, but Jay Bolt says, shout out to the haircut. Did you get a haircut?
Who, me? No.
Yeah, I didn't get a haircut. All right, shout out to Jay Bolt's haircut, maybe.
It's hilarious.
Yes. Yeah, Ben, exactly. So the idea is that you are always focusing on the most important tasks and doing those things. And that if you look at what you spend your 40-hour work week doing, that you could probably do the most high-power, profitable, most important things in a very, very small percentage of your entire week. And that so much of your week is taken up by interruptions, by things that you could delegate to other people, like virtual assistants, which I believe it was in this book that I learned about this other book, which I don't see at the moment, which is called Virtual Freedom. Here. And this is all about virtual assistants, managing virtual assistants, and this says right on here, buy more time, become more productive, and build your dream business. So most entrepreneurs would go absolutely crazy if you told them they could only work 4 hours a week. I mean, they wouldn't be able to do that. It's just you can't turn your brain off. And that's where most of the work is done, I think. That's the whole point, is that you're problem solving and that you're coming up with more effective and efficient ways to bring value to your customers and to decrease the amount of time and effort it takes you to bring that maximum value to the customer. So I recommend both of those books. And yeah, so I think that that book's a little bit misunderstood, and that it's not about working 4 hours a week. It's just about focusing on the most important things, so that when you're like for me, when I went to Chicago for 4 days, I only really went live for a couple hours. I made sure I went live every day. I did some work, but I took some time off. And because I work so much more than 4 hours every other day and week, it enables me to have the lifestyle that I want, which is really what this book is about. It actually tells you a lot about traveling, how to travel the world really cheap, and how to manage traveling around working and running a business. So, which I love, because I love traveling. What about you, Ed?
Yeah, I love to travel.
Where are some cool places you've been?
Mostly the Bahamas, Eastern Caribbean, Vegas. I still want to do Europe and some of those places.
Cool.
But
Ben says he's only happy when he's making money. No.
Yeah, I don't think money should be your only happiness. I mean, the idea of making money is so that you can have experiences. So, build wealth, make money, and then use that money and wealth to have experiences and, just enjoy life.
Ben wants to know if you've ever been to St. Martin.
Yes. I've been to St. Martin. I've been to St. Lucia. I've been to the Bahamas, Jamaica, pretty much everywhere.
Someone says that you've been to Egypt too.
I have been to Egypt, hypothetically. Just there's pictures, apparently, circulating on the internet.
I love that. Yeah, I've never been to the Bahamas myself, but I've been able to travel a lot, actually, since starting this business, and a lot of that was driven by meeting people that I've met from the platform, which is a really cool thing that I wasn't expecting to happen, although part of my initial goal was to be able to travel as part of my work or around my work easily. And that's something I love so much about live streaming, is I can do it anywhere that I am in the world. I can go live as long as there's a connection. And even if there's not a connection, I can figure something out. At least I can, send, I would have to have some connection to send a message out or something, but I can always stay connected with the community. And it's different when you have to be in person with your clients, it limits your freedom a lot.
If you go to Easter Island, you might have problems. It's like a little island in the middle of nowhere.
Hi, Meg. Thank you for asking. So I'm actually a certified Hatha yoga teacher who happens to be kind of a geek. I read a new book every single week. I'm really passionate about entrepreneurship and running my own business. My business is called Fem Yoga. You can check out the website femyoga.com. I send book reviews 3 times a year, just 3 emails a year that have a summary and review of every single book that I've read those past 4 months. So it's at least 16 books on every one of those that I send out. And we do a lot of things that are driven from the book. So actually, let me show you this cute book I just got, just to give you an idea, because the content really varies. From everything I just mentioned to way beyond. We have trivia Tuesday nights at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm in New York. She reads a lot. It's the key. Yeah, Frogger, I agree. It's the key to, I would say, my success, my skills, my knowledge. But it also limits me as far as, like, pop culture. Like, I don't know anything about what's happening in the news unless somebody reports it on Periscope.
which by the way isn't a bad thing. Because
which seems to serve me just fine. People tell me that, wow, you didn't hear about, the naked gunman, and I'm like, well, now I did. I didn't have to watch hours of the news to figure out that something maybe mildly interesting happened. But really, what benefit does it do me to know that that happened, other than maybe I should protect myself? Anyway, moving on. So I just got this book when I was in Chicago called The Little Book of Life Hacks. And it's got all sorts of different things in here. So what is this? Easy ways to brighten your home, like adding, I think, plants, and I can actually read backwards. Oh, that's cute. Don't be afraid to mix up textures, patterns, old and new. Okay, that one's kind of boring. 9 eat-me flowers for hot cuisine. So we could go look for these flowers in the woods. I actually have a book about upstate New York's edible plants and foliage. That could be a fun scope. Go through the woods together. So you can check out my YouTube channel. I have all of my old broadcasts up on YouTube. It's Fem Yoga on YouTube, and that's all linked right on the website, femyoga.com. So that's where you can sign up for the reviews. That's where you can support the channel because it is viewer funded, and that's where you can kind of learn more about what we're about. I have success stories of different people, how they've benefited from the channel, and so much more. So, we only have 5 minutes left. Did we even talk about step 17? I wrote, outwork the competition efficiently, maximize your hours. Yeah, that's actually one of the first things I said to Ed when we first started kind of being accountability partners for each other informally, was he said that he was going to go to the gym really early one day. And I was still awake from the night, working through the night on my live show. And so I messaged him at 5 a.m., whatever it was, and I'm like, what are you doing? Are you at the gym yet? The guy that you're competing with has already left. He's already showered and cleaned. He's on the way to the office already.
It's like, what the
but it's like you don't want to focus on competition too much. The comparison is the thief of joy. You want to compare yourself to yourself. But at the same time, sometimes knowing that someone out there is working harder than you and is going to get that reward that you want faster than you are, it can give you that hunger and that drive to know, hey, if they can do it, I can definitely do it. They're not better than me. I'm just being a little lazy right now. I just need to get up, or go to bed a little earlier or whatever it may be.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with abundance mentality, and there's nothing wrong with a little bit of competition, but generally, abundance mentality is definitely better. The kids just got home. They're literally trying to come in while we're doing this.
Okay. Okay, well, we can end this. We're pretty much at the end. Are they going to be in the thumbnail? That would be awesome.
No. Oh, maybe. Hold on. Hey, Aiden. Come here.
No, I did not have a Montessori education, Meg. That would have been
come
amazing.
Here, you want to come sit with
That would have been so amazing. I was actually really depressed growing up. There's kids, so I'm going to stop saying anything like that.
You want to say hi to everybody?
Hello. Can you see me? Hey.
So here, this is one of my whys. Can you say hi?
Oh, so cute.
You want me to tell her? You say hi?
You don't have to. It's all good.
Come there. Is this too much for you? The waiting? You don't have to be afraid. It's okay.
Well, you look good. All right, I'll play the outro then if you're
ready.
ready.
She's talking to you.
Oh,
go ahead, now I can hear you.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Oh, hi. Hey. I didn't know you couldn't hear me.
You want to say
get
hi?
home from school? No.
You can talk. Just say yes. Deer in headlights. He's like, what is this? What are we doing?
Okay, I'm going to run the outro now. So please make sure to check out the website, femyoga.com. Remember, this channel is 100% funded by viewers just like you. So nice to meet all of the newbies. Please make sure you're following the channel, and I will see you guys back. We're going to be doing Yoga Challenge Day 9, and we're also going to be cooking aloo gobi, which is a Pakistani dish, which was recommended to me by my friend Owen. Thank you so much, Ed and Aiden, for being on the show today. Join us back next Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more discussion of the Tai Lopez 67 steps. Thank you, Frogger. I hope you enjoyed, and we will be back next week. This has been A Moment in Time with Taylor and Ed. Thanks for watching.
Why did you take the lamp off?